Hello, I am Alicia Rose. Hi, so I'm Alicia Rose from Kindling Magic. I guess not like from Kindling Magic. I've created Kindling. Kindling Magic is combining yoga and tarot. I like using tarot cards as inspiration, and this practice specifically is going to be about seated yoga. I'll go over even some things on the floor seated, but then I also have a chair, and I'll be doing most of the practice actually in a chair and showing that as well. So yeah, welcome. I hope that people of all levels can get something from this. If you're seated on the floor, close to the floor, if you're going to be sitting for a long time, I recommend getting like a blanket or a bolster or a pillow. This is like a meditation cushion, but I sit on kind of the front edge of it, and then I even add a blanket to it to have my hips up, hopefully above my knees. I still have my socks on. You're welcome to wear whatever you want and is comfortable for you, as long as you're able to sit for a while. If you can't come into a position like this, I just have one heel into center and then the other heel right behind it. And I can sit quite comfortably like this for a long time, but I didn't used to be able to do that. So if that's not available to you and you're just in like a cross-legged seat, it can be really helpful to bring blocks underneath the knees, or even towels, books, again, pillows, blankets, something to raise the knees up just a bit, but still somewhat trying to get the hip points elevated above the knees a bit. But again, like all of this is kind of an intention and a seeing where your body is at, though. It's not even a goal or like this is what it should look like, because only you and your body can really know what's like best for you and what's going to feel right to you. And I want to really encourage you to find that space of where you're at now. I put in the description of this video that I pulled the High Priestess card for this practice. And so the High Priestess, and the way that I'm seeing it go about for this practice in connection with it, is listening to our bodies and truly getting still enough to listen to our intuition and the deepest parts of ourselves and what those parts of ourselves are trying to say. And so not only listening and connecting to that, but then acting on that guidance that we're receiving from intuition. And that doesn't necessarily mean like taking a physical action and manifesting or creating in an outward way. It can be very much a letting go or a surrendering or coming back into yourself more and finding more stillness, and more of a gentleness or an ease. It could be really anything. And I won't know that, but you will. But you won't know it unless you give yourself that space to actually listen and receive. Okay. So yeah, if you want to sit on the floor, great. And you can find that comfortable seat where you're having your tailbone slightly tucked. You can even take your hands to your hips and kind of play with rotating the pelvis and moving the sits bones, that we like to call them here, of those points, and feeling grounded and a balance in between space that feels comfortable and supportive to you, where you're also sitting up tall and straight, and there's an elongation in the spine and out the crown of the head. And there's almost like having a rope, a string, something pulling the crown of your head up. And this will also naturally tuck your chin just slightly. It's not like this. It's not like this. It's like the crown of your head rising up. And there's this beautiful lengthening throughout the spine. And then that chin is just slightly tucked with that happening. And shoulders comfortably down and back. There's not a rigidity or a holding in any way. It's very relaxed, but going down and back. And you can either breathe like in and relax down and see how that feels. So finding a center space that feels like, okay, this is This is the midpoint. This is the balance. And there's this grounding down while also being stretched and expanding up. So finding that in a seat or in a chair. And one of the reasons why I wanted to demonstrate a chair yoga practice and seated yoga practice is because I used to be a certified nursing assistant, a CNA, for many years, and I loved working with people of all abilities and all phases of life. And so there might be times in your life, whether it has to do with aging, whether it has to do with an injury, any ability that you were born with, whatever it can be, you may not be able to sit on the ground. Or if you are able to sit on the ground, you might not be able to get back up without help. And so in all seriousness, so this is me wanting to show people that yoga is for all ages, stages, and abilities. And so I'm actually going to turn the chair to the side of the camera for now, but you guys can stay looking right, centered on the camera here, but I want to take it to the side so you can see a little bit of what my back's doing. And I'll even take my jacket off so you can see better. So even for people who can get up and down from a seated position very easily, I'll show you grounded here. Even when you're like working at a desk a lot, instead of going all the way to the back of your seat, or even if you do that sometimes throughout the day, or there's maybe like a slumping, a slouching kind of going on, or like just really putting your weight into the back of the chair, consciously with awareness at some different points in your day, I invite you to come to more of the edge and the front of the chair and have your feet grounded and finding this stability with that same kind of neutral spine that's creating an elongation that I was describing while sitting on the ground on that cushion. So you can find that here when you're sitting up on a chair as well. And you can do the same thing of kind of like, okay, am I rotating this way or that way? Do I have my shoulders too far forward or too far back? Like, what's going on with me? Am I centered on the chair? And finding this place where you have a natural, beautiful curve of the back. And there's this sense of grounding into the chair, grounding into your feet, while also being brought up into this elongation up towards the sky, the crown of the head, rising up. And in yoga, there's always in any position we can find a contraction and a going down and in kind of flow and energy. And we can also find an expansion and an up and out energy. And so we're grounded and we're also coming up. It's like elongating and grounding, expanding, contracting in any position that you find. And so even finding stillness and simply sitting like this, I often will meditate in this position, but I also often meditate sitting as I demonstrated earlier with the cushion. I'm feeling chilly, obviously, down here in my basement with my beanie on. And since we're not going to be doing a lot of movement that gets our blood pumping and around very much and like our heart rate really up right now, I'm going to put my jacket back on. Okay. So here you've got that comfortable seat and we can come into a softened gaze or closing of the eyes and some conscious breaths. And like I usually do at the beginning of my yoga classes, I will guide you in counting the breaths, and then please listen for those times when I also invite you to hold and pause the breath. So on your next inhale, we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, pause. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, pause. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, pause. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, pause. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, pause. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, pause. And then inhale with that same rhythm as deeply and fully as you possibly can, breathing into your stomach, into your ribs, into your chest. When you get to that top where you don't think you can inhale anymore, suck in just one last time, and then exhale slowly, gently, with control. Again, letting out from the chest, the ribs, and all the way down into the belly, exhaling until you cannot exhale anymore. Let it all out and let it all go. And then let your breath come back into just the natural rhythm it would like to fall into without control or adjustment or changing it anymore. And notice it. I'll just say now, if you hear any snoring noises and my dog right now, she's having a dream apparently. She's sleeping on the couch over here. So little like squeaking noises and snoring noises. My sweet, sweet pit bull pup making her sleeping sounds. That's what that is. Oh, sweetie. Okay. Barking at something in her dreams. Okay. So opening your eyes, and as you're just continuing to pay attention to your breath without controlling it, potentially still having a soft gaze, I invite you to also connect with that intention again that I was talking about, and this High Priestess energy of diving into and opening yourself up to your intuition, your depths, your subconscious, the mysteries of you and your body that you might not tap into on a daily basis or very often. Have that be your intention as you go through this practice of really listening to what is my body telling me, what are the deepest parts of myself telling me. How can I listen to that, pay attention to that more? Okay, and with whatever ability you might be at, I want you to please meet yourself where you're at. Again, no yoga pose, position, or anything is supposed to look a certain way. If it doesn't feel good and supportive to you, that's not the pose for you. That's not how it's meant to look and feel for you. If someone else is doing it and it feels great for them, then great for them. Where are you at right now? And so, with my CNA work, working with people who were quadriplegics, working with people who had MS, working with people who were elderly. There's just the curve of your back is going to be different. Your mobility is just going to be in lots of different places, and every day can be different. So being patient and compassionate to yourself, please. And so gently we'll start to take the neck to one side. I'm taking my right ear towards my right shoulder, and you might be literally just a little tilt, and then that's it. That's maybe all you can do. Maybe that is already starting to create some tension inside. And so whenever you get to that point when you're feeling any kind of pain or tension or contraction in your body, then pause and hold on the edge of that and breathe. Give your body the space and permission to be exactly where it's at right now, please. And then help your body and yourself know that you're safe by breathing into that discomfort. And then if you can, after a few breaths, go a little bit further, then go a little bit further. And if not, there's no shame in it. There's no reason to feel like it should be any different, because it's not. And so that's exactly what it's supposed to be right now, because it is what it is. All right, and if you can, getting all the way as far as you can towards the right ear meeting the right shoulder. If you'd like, you can also take the right hand to the top of the head, potentially, and not pushing or pulling, but just gently adding a little bit more weight to the gravity of that. And you can push your left hand out like it's pushing against something really heavy, pushing away. And you can raise your left hand up and down, forward and back, and feel that connection from like the top of your head, down your ear, down your neck, all the way into that side body, and how doing these little micro movements can really change things up too. And if you're not adding the hands, even just noticing and breathing. What does it feel like to stay for a longer amount of time having my head bent one direction? We don't stay still in a position like this very often. Sometimes we do when we're sleeping, and that can cause issues. All right, and on your next inhale, come back to center and feel how one side of your neck and your head might feel different now that you've done some stretching on one side but not the other, and maybe center feels a little bit off and more confusing now. And on your next exhale, taking it to the other side. So now I'm taking my left ear towards my left shoulder. And same thing, finding that edge, that resistance, and breathing into it, breathing with it, staying there if that's where you are and what you're working with today, right now. And that is right and correct for you. Potentially moving further over to the left, potentially taking the left hand towards the right ear on top of the head, adding a little bit more weight, maybe pushing the right hand out against something imaginary, and then taking the arm up and down, forward and back. How does this change things? And always remembering to breathe. When we find any sort of tension or contraction, then our breath can automatically slip away. We'll start to hold our breath, or our breath can stay stuck in our chest. So if you notice you're not breathing, then remember to breathe. And if you start to notice your breath being only in your chest, try to breathe down into your stomach a little bit more. Breathing deeper. And again, how does it feel On the other side, this side definitely has more discomfort, more tension, and a little bit of pain than when I had my right ear to my right shoulder. This side feels different. On your next inhale, coming back to center, and then let's take it into some circles. And these can be as little as they need to be, like taking the tip of your nose into little teeny tiny circles. Or potentially taking it a bit bigger. Remembering to breathe. And when you're breathing, you can inhale to add the breath when your head is back, and exhale when your head is folded forward and your chin is coming towards your chest. And then you can slowly begin to make the circles as big as is comfortable and supportive for you. So again, if you're staying up here, and even this can maybe create some dizziness, then maybe instead inhaling, just starting to take the head back a bit, and exhaling forward. You can even just take a break and be sitting up tall, or do the side to side again. So if the circles are not available to you and not feeling supportive and good to you, then do not do them, please. And if the circles are feeling really good, then make them as big and dramatic as you would like, really listening to your neck. You can take it super slow. We've been going the same direction this whole time, so whenever you're ready, you can switch directions and start rotating the other way. If you start to feel bored, notice that. And keep going. That could be your edge. Instead of pain or discomfort, your edge could be, I'm bored, I want to move on, this yoga practice isn't for me in my ability level. And maybe that's true. Inhale back to center, and if that's true, you're welcome to move on, no problem. Take what's supportive and helpful to you, leave the rest, and you can move on to something else. But I do challenge you, if you do feel like, okay, I'm way beyond this yoga practice, this isn't the yoga I need to be doing, it could be really helpful for you to lean into that. And that could be, again, your edge of like, I'm going to stick with this and see where this goes, and invite yourself into more stillness, into listening to your body in those teeny tiny movements. Okay, so we're going to start bringing the shoulders forward and rounded. And inhale up, and exhale, taking the shoulder blades together, down and back. And so this could be really small. Again, these circles could be very, very little, or they could start getting really, really big. And you can add the hands to it, where my hands are coming all the way forward to my knees here. When I'm coming forward, you could add the neck into it too, of taking your chin to your chest more. And then inhaling, taking the chin back a bit, and exhaling them down and back. Inhale, exhale, down and back, and my hands start to come all the way towards my hips and then around, creating these circles with our shoulders now. Take it as slowly as you would like. Listen to your shoulders, listen to your body. If one shoulder has had an injury and the other one hasn't, you can also alternate and look at, okay, this shoulder, this feels really good for it. And then this shoulder, I can't move that much and go that far. Totally fine too. And it can be really maybe supportive to do one at a time instead of both together. All right, now we're going to switch it up. And so I'm inhaling when I'm going back and exhaling forward. And again, you can make this as dramatic as you would like, and adding kind of like a back bend to it, and then folding forward if you'd like. So that's not supportive to you, just sitting up tall. and only working with the shoulders. My dog, when we're all going on walks, will pull me sometimes when she sees a cat or a bird and she wants to chase after it. And so I can feel in my right shoulder a little bit more pain and tiredness than in the other one. And again, you could do like one at a time. So I'm noticing that. I'm listening to what my body is telling me and taking care of it. Okay, and coming back into that neutral, sitting up tall spine. And we'll inhale, hands up overhead. And let's hold a beach ball overhead. And notice if you're bringing your shoulders scrunching up into your ears and trying to create space between the shoulders and the ears. And you can bring it out really big like this. It could be a really big beach ball. Or you can have it coming in more, but trying to keep this between the ear and the shoulder, some space and no scrunching. And we're holding and building strength here. I have my fingers like spread out wide and very active. And plugging the shoulders in and down, holding that. Maybe the imaginary beach ball starts to feel a little bit heavier. We can build strength, build stability. You're strong. And then on your next exhale, I'm going to take the right hand down just to like the side of the chair on my lap. And inhale again and exhale, taking it, stretching towards the right side body, and keeping both hips and sits bones grounded into the chair, stretching over. And you can take the neck with it, or you can keep the neck very strong and shoulder plugged in strong. And even me doing this, I can feel that I'm getting a lot of strength in my arms. Very, very active in that. And you can notice as you maybe go over a little bit further, a stretch all the way from the fingertips all the way down into the hip, the neck into the hip. If it's available to you and you'd like, you can come forward towards your right knee a bit, looking down, maybe on an exhale, and then maybe on an inhale, turning the chest open and up towards the sky. And inhaling big in a twist this way, and then exhaling forward. Inhaling back. And doing that a few times. Maybe just exhaling over to the side and keeping it here. Maybe we're all the way up here. I'm sure your left arm is getting tired. You are strong, you can do this. Building strength and stability. And on your next inhale, taking both hands up overhead again, and we'll give that left arm a rest as we exhale and take it down to the side or on our lap. Inhale again up tall and exhale over to the left, taking my right arm up and over. Keeping that shoulder plugged in and down and space in the neck and shoulders. You can add the neck a bit or keep it in line with your spine here. If you're doing this, then maybe breathe and notice, is this really helpful? Is this really supportive and feeling good? Maybe it's better to keep everything all aligned. Having the ear, the neck all the way down into the hips and the fingertips all the way down into the hips, stretching over, keeping both sides grounded into the chair. Maybe exhale, coming forward towards the left knee and looking down a bit. And then inhaling, twisting back and starting to shine my heart and my chest up towards the sky and looking up at the sky. And exhaling forward again. And inhaling back up. And exhaling forward. Maybe holding for a breath or two and one or the other if it's feeling extra good to twist, strengthen. I am creating some warmth in my core for these movements, and my belly button is coming up and in a bit to support my side and my back. Maybe stretching over a little bit further. Noticing your arms, your shoulders getting tired. Meeting that discomfort and breathing into it. And on your next inhale, both hands back up. And exhale, both hands back down on the lap. And now let's do some rotations here, where we can take the hands to the tops of the thighs or to the knees. And I'll start rotating one direction, leaning towards the right, and then coming back chin to chest. And I'm exhaling. And then inhaling, shining my chest forward, looking forward. And starting to, again, this could be little circles, little rotations one way. Might not feel very good to do this. Maybe making them a little bit bigger each time. Really breathing in. And you can make them big and dramatic. You can even hold onto your knees and stretch like the top part of your back and shoulders as you're back this way. And then pressing into the tops of your legs as you're coming forward and creating more of like a back bend. Taking it slow. When you feel like you're done going one direction, maybe take it around one more time. And then switching, going the other way. And notice how or if going the other direction is any different. Notice if your feet are still planted firmly into the floor. And creating that stability for yourself too. And maybe you're up here. All right, and on your next inhale, let's come back to a neutral seat, sitting up tall in the middle. And take a deep breath in and then sigh it out through your mouth. And notice if your body feels any different now. I am feeling a bit more warmed up and flexible and good just from doing those movements. Let's do an inhale, scrunching. And then exhale and let it loose and just go, if that's available to you. Oh, holding, bringing it all in and exhaling something. Let it go. That can feel really good to do too. Maybe adding the arms, going, maybe even looking up and then just big deep breaths. Feels good. Okay, now if you can use your feet and move them, there is the possibility of taking maybe the right foot on top of the left thigh and having this seat here and noticing how this feels. Maybe that's not comfortable and available to you at all. If it is, you can do a little bit of stretching forward and feeling your hips here If it's not available to you, you could simply lift your right foot up and taking, again, your core, your navel up and in, and just lifting on an inhale, grounding on an exhale. Staying up tall. And this can really be, if you're very active and it's like you're imagining you're squeezing everything up and in when you're doing this, this can be a very active strengthening exercise for all ability levels again. And then yes, if you're able to do it up here, you could be inhaling up, exhaling, stretching over, inhaling up, exhale, stretching over. You could take it towards your foot and maybe twisting one way, taking it towards your knee, maybe reaching the right hand back behind the right thigh and twisting this way, feeling that out. So any of these movements, it's feeling good to you and supportive to you. With the right leg right now. You can also take the right leg into circles. And again, if this is very, very active and my foot being flexed, creating a lot of strength and stability in that thigh, in the inner thigh, in the hip. If the chair is uncomfortable that you're sitting on, like I'm sitting on a pretty hard wooden chair, and at this point in the practice, it can start to feel a little uncomfortable. At any time, you can pause, take a break, you can grab a blanket and put it on, or something else that helps the chair be slightly more comfortable. And if you have your leg here, you can also practice maybe taking it into circles in a supportive way. In the hip practice I did last week, it's like taking my right foot into my left hand, my right hand behind my right knee, and maybe doing some circles around here like this. And again, the foot's very active. Maybe taking it the other way. Maybe trying to inhale and bring the leg up and in towards your chest. If you're down on the ground and you've been doing circles this way with both feet down, you can take it the other way and circles the other way. Building mobility, building strength. Okay, give that right leg a rest, and we'll do the same thing with the left. So maybe you're flexing, inhaling up, exhaling down, doing some strengthening that way that feels good. After doing that a few times, quite a few times, challenge yourself. I believe in you. Maybe starting to take it out and around, having the thighs again like coming together, like squeezing together up and in, and that navel up and in. So we're building a little bit more subtle core strength, lower back support strength, rotating one direction, rotating the other direction. Okay, maybe the right foot is able to go on top of the right thigh and sitting up tall and exhaling over and stretching. Doing any of this in whatever order feels good to you. Maybe taking it over towards the right foot and twisting down towards it. Maybe going towards the left and twisting to the left side and down. Just listening again to your body. I say again a lot, so sorry if that's distracting for anybody. Listening to your body and listening what movements it might want to take. Doing any or all of them. How does this side feel different? When we're comparing and looking at which, maybe it feels different and is different on one side, maybe I can go a little bit further in one direction on one side and not on the other. No judgment. It's where your body's at. Maybe taking my right foot into my right hand, left hand around my left knee, and maybe rotating and bringing it around here. 2 for some hip stretches. Maybe hugging my leg into myself. When you feel like you've gotten lots of great movement and strength on this side, then we can exhale, both feet back down, planted on the ground. And you can inhale, exhale, and feel where you're at now. Awesome. Let's do a twist together where we'll inhale, both hands up towards the sky, and then exhale, I'm taking my right hand behind my butt and my back a bit, or maybe just starting to go that way. Maybe I can't twist that far, but I'm taking my right hand out to the right, left hand up and over to the right knee or towards the right knee, and twisting towards the right to look over my right shoulder. So maybe your twist looks like this. It's like, okay, I'm making my way there. Great. Maybe you can go all the way around. Checking in. And with every inhale, elongating, sitting up tall. And with every exhale, gently going further into the twist. No yanking and pushing yourself around. Gently noticing where you're at and what this twist feels like. Again, breathing down into your belly too. Not letting your breath go, not holding your breath, and not keeping your breath up in your chest. Breathing down into the belly. On your next inhale, coming up to center both hands. And then exhale, same thing on the other side. So I'm taking my left hand, starting to go back behind me. Maybe it gets onto the chair behind me, or maybe the back of the chair. But having it down, probably further down towards the seat of the chair. And then right hand going up and over, exhaling to grab my left knee or the side of my left leg with my right hand and twisting to look behind my left shoulder. Inhaling, sitting up tall, and exhaling into the twist a little bit more. And if you are unable to add the arms at all, then even just having your hands wherever, and starting to make your way towards twisting to that side. And being with where you're at. And on your next inhale, hands up to the center, and then clap them together, maybe above your head if you can, and exhaling them down to center, or just bringing them down in front of your chest, palms together at your heart. Let's do that one more time. With inhaling up, and if you can, clap overhead, bring something down from the heavens, from the sky, some warmth down into your heart. And then we'll inhale, and we're going to take our hands still together, palms together, and twisting over to the right with our palms at the center and at our heart, remaining there. And maybe again, we're just twisting this way. Maybe the left elbow can start making it towards the right knee, left elbow to right knee, and twisting to the side this way and looking over the right shoulder. Maybe not going forward, but twisting while sitting up tall. And we're still, even if I'm sitting up tall here, or if I'm bending over to the side, my back really is staying in basically the same position. That sitting up tall position, crown of my head shining up, creating elongation, lengthening in the spine. And keeping those hands at the chest and the chest open. And so you might start wanting to move them one or the other way as you're twisting, trying to keep them towards center. And maybe that means that you're just twisting here. And that's fine. Beautiful. And holding there for a few breaths. Notice if your knees are starting to separate and trying to keep your knees parallel and squeezing in together and both feet firmly planted evenly. And on your next inhale, back to center and exhale. Inhale, sitting up tall and exhaling, taking it to the left now on the left side. Twisting to look behind the left shoulder. Maybe taking the right elbow kind of up and over to the left knee, keeping your hips and knees in alignment, your feet in alignment as much as possible, and keeping your hands to center and at your chest. My core is working and strengthening here too. I am breathing down into the belly while also having my belly button coming up and in. Looking over my my left shoulder. Breathing. And inhale, back to center. Inhale, arms up. And exhale all the way down. Palms back down on the thighs. So all of these same movements and everything we've done could still be done in the seated position. But all of this is stuff you can do seated in this chair. Again, if you do like a desk job all day, doing a little bit of these movements, even while, they might not be as dramatic and big, and you might not be breathing as deeply if you're in the middle of work and you have people sitting around you. But, remember to sit up tall towards the edge of your seat, doing some twists, maybe doing some neck movements, some shoulder movements can be really helpful to get your energy and your body sitting in an anatomically correct position that helps you to actually be able to focus better, to feel better in the middle of your day when you might start being like, ugh, and sluggish and done with work, sick of sitting at this desk. Get up and walk around and come back, maybe do a few of these exercises. And if you're sitting in a wheelchair all day, any of these kinds of exercises that you can do, this can go a huge way to be supportive. And even if you are in a wheelchair and having to sit all the way to the back, you can still be doing all of these same kinds of twists and movements, just again, maybe not as dramatically and fully with all of your arms and everything. So make it your own. And I really just wanted and felt inspired to bring this practice to people who might think yoga isn't for me, or I can't do yoga because I can't get down on the floor. You don't have to do yoga on the floor. And yoga can look like and feel like whatever it needs to look like and feel like for you. Again, I think that's all I'll do for today. This feels good. So let's do another big inhale in. I'm going to do exhale, hands to my heart. So grateful for anybody who watched this, who practiced this. If you know anybody who could benefit from this, please share it with them. I have a Patreon if you'd like more personalized content and one-on-one work. I'm happy and willing and excited to do that with you. And my email also is in the description below. Inhale, hands up to the crown of my head, third eye here, rubbing it a little bit. The wisdom and the light in me. I'm so grateful to the wisdom and light in you. And I bow to you. Thank you for showing up today. Namaste. You're beautiful and awesome. Maybe doing some intentions, some affirmations, some meditation work, and focusing and thinking about the High Priestess and tapping into your intuition, your inner knowing could be really helpful and good right now too at the end of this. All right. I hope to see you again later. Bye.